Okay, so first things first, a little bit of hand cleaning. I have deleted out any image files, I've deleted out lights, and I've deleted out any backgrounds. So we're clean and we've got no keyframes in here. I'm going to be sticking joints inside him, which means I don't want to be able to select him while I'm doing that. So as we did with the reference images in the previous set of tutorials, I'm going to get all the geometry. I'm going to create a layer with that geometry on it so we can hide it and we can reference it and everything. Turn it over to a reference so we can't select it. So it's in there, and I'm going to call that layer body geo for body geometry. Save. And again, you can't put any spaces in those titles. I think it's limited to a certain amount of characters, but I can't remember how many at this point. Right, okay. It's handy to be able to see the mesh, so we can go wireframe on smooth shaded, and so we can see where the edge loops are. And actually, quite frankly, we don't need to see the textures at this point, so just hit 5, and so we can just see the geometry. That's fine. Because there's a metallic texture on the top there, it turns out black, but it should be okay, cool. And also his eyes are emissive, which is why they're a little bit paler. Okay, cool. And so we might want to, we don't have to set the other things the same way, but sometimes it helps you to be able to see what you're doing. Right, so in the side view, we are going to put in some joints. So this process is called rigging, and you'll find that there's a rigging shelf and there is a rigging menu. So if we switch over to those, we're good to go. The other thing we might want to do in shading is go X-ray joints. Now that means that if we put some joints on the inside of it and we're smooth shaded, we can still see the joints in this view, which can be a little bit handy. So X-ray joints is good. If you're in wireframe, you can see them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Right, here we go. Joint tool, okay, creator, and locator. So locator is just point in space, so it's usually used just for reference. Joints come in as a hierarchy, and we'll look at that in a second as we create them. And IK is how you control a chain of joints. So joints, we're going to start with the root joint. So the skeleton, all the joints together form a skeleton, and it's a hierarchy. So one joint follows another joint, follows another joint, like your wrist joint follows your elbow joint, follows your shoulder joint. So it's logical that you would create a system, a hierarchy of joints in the same way. And we start with a root, and the root is just the top of the hierarchy, and bits of geometry don't really follow it. It's just the top node, but it doesn't matter at this point. It's just to note it's called the root joint. I'm going to click on the joint tool, and I'm going to put the root around the waist height, but just towards the back, because we're going to put joints up the middle that the mesh is going to follow, including the hips. And so we're just moving this out of the way a bit. And I'm going to come into the middle, and I'm going to come up. So that's spine 1, and then we can go spine 2, and then we can go rib cage, and then we can go neck joint, head joint, because the head moves around the base of the skull, and then head end. And then if you hit return, it'll go, there is your chain of joints. And you'll see here, it just says joint 1. If I go Control Shift and then click on that, it'll open up the hierarchy, which says joint 7 follows joint 6. No. Now, there's going to be 50 odd joints in an entire skeleton. If they're all just numbered joints, it's difficult to navigate in the outliner because you don't know what they're called. So what I would normally do, and what is industry standard, is going to go, you can keep the word joint if you want, but I would go root. Now if you've got multiple characters in a scene, and put an underscore in there, and put a capital J in. You might want to go Baron root joint or root joint Baron, and so it'll define the characters. Yeah, you don't have to go the character's name on every joint, but you could define it that way. But also the top controller will have the character's name on it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But as long as you know that possibly you might be passing this rigged character onto somebody else, and they've got to find their way through the hierarchy, so the naming's not necessarily just for you. This one will go spine 1 joint, or actually spine joint underscore capital J underscore 1, and then if you want to, you could go copy that and go paste, and then go 2, and then probably go 3, even though that's kind of like the rib cage, but it's fine. This one is neck underscore. I think Maya is clever enough now to put an underscore in for you if you put a space in there. But neck joint, and then this one is head underscore joint, and then actually if you copy that, this one is head underscore end joint. Okay, so that's that spine thing in there. We're going to put some eye joints in as well. It takes a little bit of juggling, so if we do that and we get hold of this stuff and we go display hide selection, and we can see the joints, and we can see both eyes there? Yes, we've got both eyes there. So really what I want is I want a joint around here. So I'm going to get the joint tool, and I'm going to click it into the middle of the eye there. And in this view, I'm going to go W. I'm going to move it over to the centre of the eye there. Right, so this wants parenting into the hierarchy. We want to go, actually, you follow an existing joint. So the eye joint follows the head joint. So I'm going to go from there to there. Select that, shift select that, and hit P. And then now that eye joint follows the head joint. So here, we're going to go, it's on the left hand side, so that's going to be left with a capital L underscore EYE underscore joint. So now what we can do with that selected, we can go here and go skeleton mirror joints, and we'll go search for left, replace with right, and we just need to know where we're mirroring across. So at the moment it says XY, which is the plane we're in, and actually we want to mirror across the plane that's sitting down the middle of the space, which is actually going to be Y, and then the one coming forward, so it's YZ. So if you mirror across YZ and go apply, so you get a second eye joint there, and it says right eye joint, which is lovely because it names it for you and everything. And so we've now got 2 eye joints in, and so we can get the eyes to follow those. So display, show last hidden, and everything comes back again. So there you go. So that is the spine done. So we need to put the legs in next. So I'm going to go a couple of things here. So first off, we want a hip joint in. So the hip joint goes in the middle, goes around here. Right, and so what I want to do is I want to attach that back. So you see the hierarchy goes up that way. The root's in the middle, the hierarchy comes down from the root. So I'm going to shift select that and go P. So you can see an arrow goes that way and an arrow comes down. So that is the pelvis joint. So the hips go either side. So I'm going to go pelvis joint with the vague hope that I can spell it. F-I-N-T, there we go, pelvis joint, cool. And now I'm going to put the leg joints in. So joint tool, hip, knee right on the edge loop in the middle there, and then right on that edge loop in the middle of the two that we put in for the ankle, right on the edge loop for the toe joint, and then that's a toe end. Okay, so again, at the moment these are a separate hierarchy, so you can go Control Shift, open it up. Joint 1 is, he says, so this is left, well it will be, left hip joint. Hang on, let's underscore that. Whoop, and underscore that. And make that lowercase j, capital J. There we go, left hip joint. So if I copy that, and I can come down here, go paste, and then just put in knee joint, left knee joint, paste, left ankle joint. This one is paste, left toe joint, and this one is left like the head end. This is at the end here. Nothing really follows it, it's just the end of the hierarchy. And so we call it head end joint, so we're going to call it this left toe underscore end underscore joint. There we go, cool. So we've got those. So, but if we noticed before, when you make a joint chain like this in the side view, it comes into the middle of the world. So what we have to do, we have to move it out until it's right down the middle of the leg there. So not quite. There you go, sitting behind that line there. Just have a look at the foot. Yeah, sitting pretty much in the middle of the foot, which is cool. So now what we can do is we can go, this one that goes down the left leg needs to follow that middle joint there. So I'm going to select that one, shift select the pelvis joint, and go P. And so it's now parented, and you can see the hierarchy is coming down. And then now we've got that made, we can go skeleton, mirror joints. We've got it set up from before, so it's YZ, look for left, replace with right, apply. And so now, hopefully, Control Shift, that one's there, and you can see from the pelvis joint we've got the left leg, and from the pelvis joint we've got the right leg as well. Cool, there we go. So as you can see, oh, we didn't put it in, so shading, X-ray joints, and there you can see the joints coming in inside that, and so that is the root. That's the thing that kind of goes, everything above is the top of the body, everything below is the bottom of the body. Right, eyes are separate, that's cool. So arms now. So arms we want out flat sideways, most of it anyway, apart from the thumb. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go into the top view and see what we can do. So we need a clavicle joint which is here, which is kind of just this side of the eye joint. I'm not even sure I can see the eye joint there, but in line with the arm. So let's see. We'll go joint. You can make a joint out here and then just drag it into where you want it. So the eye's there, the arm line is there. So something like that, and then a shoulder joint. So this is making it on the floor plane. I think the shoulder joint's going to be roughly around there. Elbow joint right on that edge loop there. Wrist joint in the middle here. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down the pinky. So there we've got 3 edge loops there, so I'm going to put the first joint there. We're a bit big, but never mind. The next one I'm going to put in the middle of that knuckle. There. And this one's going to go in the middle of that knuckle. There. And then this one's going to go down there. Okay, so these joints are looking really big, and it's because of the size of the joints going in based on the length of that. So I'm hopefully, if I get that joint there and go select hierarchy, so it'll select all the joints, and bring the radius down from 0.5 to 0.2, there we go, we can just resize them like that. Okay, so now, again, I'm going to go, in fact what I can do is I can go short joint. So we're on the joint creation tool here. I can open it settings and it kind of goes short bone length 0.5, and I can go, actually while we're doing this, short bone radius 0.2. Thank you very much. And so I can go put one in there, one on that knuckle there, one on that knuckle there, and one on the end of the finger there. Hit return, and again back on the tool, one there, one on the knuckle, one on the knuckle, one on the finger end there, and in the front view, I'm going to put one. Well, it must be in that kind of centre line of the house. I want to come down here. So one up here, one for that knuckle there, one for that knuckle there, and one for the end of the thumb there. Okay, so there's my thumb joints. So let's put these together. Let's go off these onto the select tool, would be good. Finger joint. That's middle finger first joint, and then the wrist joint, and then P, and then index finger, wrist joint, P. Right, that is joined up. Not that guy, that guy. There you go. Makes more sense. Somewhere up here. Let's have a look. There we go. Down there. This guy. Make sure that's all of them. Yes, it is. There. Now, Shift P. They are all joined up. And let's do that. If I select that guy there. Yes. They are all connected. Lovely. So, moving swiftly on. This bit gets connected to the rib cage, because although shoulders don't follow rib cages, clavicles follow rib cages. So, P. And so now we can go and go. It's called joint 1 again. So this is a pain. So this is, what did I have before? I had left hip joint. So let's have left clav. What's clav? Clav here. Cool. Joint 2. Left shoulder joint. Oop, messed it up. Left underscore elbow underscore joint. Let's copy that again then. Control copy. This one. Left wrist joint. Now left, if it's in the pattern that we built them, this will be pinky. Joint underscore 1. So we can now just go down. Oh, I've got pinky. So I want that. Copy. Let's just add. Come here. So that one there is pinky joint 2. That one is pinky joint 3. And that is pinky joint And there we go. And so this one is left, middle, joint 1. But we can copy that, and then that's paste 2, that is paste 3, and that is paste, and this one, and paste, index 1, copy that, that is index 2, that one is paste index 3, and this one is paste index, and yay, this one is paste, and it's not index, it's thumb, thumb 1, let's copy that, paste that 2, paste that 3, paste that, and okay, lovely. So that's that. So they're all named, and then what we need to do now is copy them across. So mirror. So that's left clavicle joint. So again, skeleton, mirror joints. YZ, left becomes right. Apply, and then what we've got is we've got another set of joints over there. And the nice thing about mirroring the geometry means that when you mirror the joints, they just drop in properly. And again, you can see that, so Control Shift, and that's our right. And you can see why naming is important now, because that is our skeleton. But that is all about skeleton. So that's the skeleton done. So the next stage is controllers. Yay, it's going so fast. See you in the next one.